Hello, my very dear Virgos. So, the first thing that I see is I'm starting your reading for the week of July 28th. Of course, whenever you see it and it resonates, and for whoever of the Virgo collective it does resonate for, this is what I saw. I looked out my window where I see the North Mountain, and there you are standing on top of the mountain, and you're just getting ready to sing. That was earlier today before I got to sit down to do the reading. Then as I sat down, there it was again, and this time you were singing, climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. The song from The Sound of Music. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, whoa, okay, this is, again, for me, and based on some of the cards that have come up too, grace, take God with you, there's very much a sense of divine guidance here. And I feel like it's a continuation. I went back and I looked at the title of your reading from before. I didn't listen to it again, the one from last week. But I do remember that sense of the sacred cave that is your heart and the light in it. It was such a clear and beautiful image for me. What I feel Spirit is telling you today is this is a continuation, and this is how you get to live in that space. I feel like this is guidance for you to be able to maintain that frequency and to clear away anything that might interrupt staying in there on a more consistent basis. What they also really want you to understand is that the things that you have let go of that have been such powerful learning lessons for you have been a part of what has made you wonderful, what has made you rich, what has made you deep. And that what they really are encouraging you to do is, and this was the initial message almost as soon as I picked up the deck of cards, was this is about you being able to apply that love to yourself. Because what it feels to me, Virgo, is that there still may be some of you who are struggling a little bit with the idea that you're not as lovable as you would be if these characteristics were gone, which I think is something many spiritual people struggle with. But it did not escape my attention that my cat came and laid down right beside the cards before I started. She doesn't do that. I had pulled the first 3 cards for you, and I was getting in touch with the energy, and she came. And the energy was so soft and gentle, and I knew that I wanted to speak to you with the depth of love and heart that I feel for this creature. She's gone now, but only once I got the message. She came to me with a condition. And it was a condition that her litter mate had, and eventually an autoimmune condition that grew into a fatal disease. Now this little critter here came in with the initial symptoms that her sister started with. And I was fostering her and decided to keep her. And what I realized as I was getting so anxious about how I was going to fix this, how I was going to help her, how I was going to make it better, all of a sudden I just had this wash of love come over me. And it was, love her the way she is. Not love her for how she's going to be when she gets better. Don't love her so that she will get better. Love her the way she is. And that is my message to you. From Spirit, love yourself the way you are. You are going to carry things with you from the past. There is going to be grief. There's going to be memories of difficulty, of betrayal, of being left behind, of being abandoned, of being hurt, of not being treated well. Any of those things that have caused you emotional pain and caused you to shut down your heart. These things will come up now because your heart is opening. So the biggest thing for you to remember right now is love yourself the way you are. Because part of what you'll do as you go back over and you look at those events and those themes in your life, Some of you are going to be facing truths that maybe you hadn't identified before in terms of what was your role in that? What was your responsibility? How did this play out? And it will be very easy for you to get stuck on the fact that you did something wrong, or that's how you will label it. But please, Virgo, this is so important for you to remember. This is not about when we're learning how, and I know many of you know this, but this is your reminder from Spirit, is that when we are deliberately growing our consciousness, it's so very important to remember that everything we've experienced, everything that we have done that we can look back at with judgment, with criticism, anytime we can look at ourselves and say, I should be better, that's where you create a disconnect from your soul, who sees you as perfect and understands that the whole role of this lifetime is to learn and grow. And that we can't learn and grow until we take loving, compassionate responsibility and accountability for our part in any situation. If we only deflect and project blame onto other people, that is not a sign of a consciousness that is growing. So, and again, it's like, don't beat yourself up if that's where you're being and if that's where you end up going. Because if it's a pattern, you'll come up against it. The thing about it is, Leo, you are being told, climb every mountain, ford every sea, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. You are being told, don't give up. Don't give up, but it's not about giving up. Yes, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. You're being reminded that it's a process. It is a process, but it's not a process that is meant to be struggle. It's a process of living and learning and growing. And when we can do it within the context of each time we do it, gives us the capacity, the ability to be more self-compassionate, more understanding. What it's doing, Virgo, is it's opening you up to a connection to humanity, to the emotions that we all share. And as we understand that, then what we get to do is develop an understanding, an empathy, a tolerance, a humility when it comes to dealing with other people's foibles and things that we perceive as faults. It's actually a really beautiful process that the less we judge ourselves, the less we judge other people, and the more intuitive and in tune we become with our heart, and therefore the more discerning we can be. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win situation. And what Spirit is telling you is when you come up against these hard things, whether it's hanging on to hurt or whether or not it is self-blame for any of for facing the truth of the fact that you helped co-create those situations, the idea in all of it is to be compassionate to yourself and to learn from it, not blame yourself for not having known better at the time. Okay? Now they're saying to you, really stay aligned with checking in with your heart. So it's not just, do I want to do any particular thing, although that's very important, because sometimes in relationships, what we'll do, no, I'm going to change that. Because, Virgo, sometimes in relationships, what you'll do in order to not risk not being loved is you'll do what other people want, and you won't question what it is you want. So you're being asked, again, to question, go into your heart and question, do I want to do this? Do I want to be part of this? Is this how I want to be in this relationship? And to really check in with your heart and have the awareness of what your choice is. Okay? Sometimes you're not going to be able to change right away. Sometimes you're going to know it's not exactly how you want to be. And for today, this is what you're going to do anyway. So it's that honesty. Instead of pretending it's all right, it's the honesty. You might choose otherwise for whatever reason in that moment, but just be aware and honest about the fact with yourself that you're doing it. and possibly with the other people too. You're being told God is so very with you, Virgo, because God's always been with you. Your angels have always been with you. But now it is as though, for those of you that I'm reading for, you have switched into another frequency. And so you can allow the availability of that divine energy to be more present in your consciousness, which automatically brings it into more of a co-creative and more of an active presence in your life. Because it's integrating now into your conscious personality, which ideally, I believe, is what the goal is. It's helping unite your higher mind and your higher conscious self with your personality so that you are living more from that higher conscious mind and that high heart rather than just your ego. We want your ego too. We want your personality for sure. We would like it nicely blended with your high heart and your compassionate heart, okay? Your wise self, not just the wounded self. Now you're being told that this is something to pay attention to and to do your very best to stay aware of, okay? Your choices and why you make them. But you're also being told, take God with you. Remember that divine presence that is around you and in you. And remember also that whenever it gets tricky, lean into grace. Grace is a smooth, easy, peaceful, and supportive quality. It flows naturally into us and through us. It's an experience of letting the benevolent universe take us through our movements and guide us with a loving hand. Okay? Lean into that anytime you find yourself feeling stressed out, self-critical, criticized by anybody else. This is your anchor card. It's grace. Lean into that because you are on a learning path right now. But what I want you to understand is that if we were looking at this in terms of school, this would be now you having gone from grade 8 or 9 to PhD. Okay, you're now at that PhD level where you are that much, you've worked through this much, now you're already here. So lean into the grace, lean into that energy because you actually really have arrived at a place where whatever the old stuff is that you're dealing with, you can deal with it differently. You can deal with it now from a loving place, appreciating what it's teaching you, appreciating what it has taught you, appreciating what you're coming to understand about why you were the way you were, and therefore how you can be different in a way that is loving, self-loving, and is in keeping with you in this expanded level of consciousness. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that, Virgo. I feel like this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reminder and support that you have got divine grace with you at every step here, and that you are being asked to really focus on that in this new process of learning how to live fully from that sacred heart, especially, first and foremost, with love for yourself. Okay, Virgo? I leave you with that. Take care.